Happy Friday, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majeski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with your Talking Live weekend forecast update here on your February the 6th, 2026. Things looking great as we're wrapping up the work week on your Friday with abundant sunshine. Now, we're going to still have sunshine in for Saturday, but it is going to be turning colder, at least briefly, for the weekend. And for you folks really wanting a true February thaw, just hold on. We have that coming your way going into our next week. Now, before we get into this full update, if you're new here to the Talking Live Broadcast Channel Facebook page, please give us a follow. And if you happen to be watching over on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future forecast updates just like these. All right, let's go ahead and take a live look there in Chattanooga. We got abundant sunshine for today. Not bad, as temperatures are going to be briefly milder for this afternoon. And also looking at the same at DeLong as well, with a lot of blue skies there across North Georgia. We are going to see some clouds going to try to work their way down briefly here for tonight, but generally it's going to be turning colder, and we're also going to be getting a bit windy, especially going in for heading in for tomorrow. Now, as we go ahead and take a look at the radar, we're all clear here for today. We may see some snows break out over in the Smokies, but generally East Tennessee and North Georgia should stay precipitation free. Satellite picture showing those clouds up toward the north here, and with those clouds, they're going to kind of move their way into North Georgia and East Tennessee here a little bit briefly late today. And going in toward tonight, shouldn't wander around too much for tomorrow, so sunshine is expected to be back in the area. Now, as we look at our regional radar, again, you're seeing some of that precipitation. This is out ahead of that Clipper system that's kind of moving in here, and you see this warm front back here to the west. It's going to briefly warm us up today, but again, like I said, we're going to turn cold again going in for the weekend. But the good news is it's going to be a quick hit and run, folks, so it's going to be moving out very quickly. So let's go look at our regional model here as we take a look at this here. We're going to be watching this. This is a North American model. You're going to notice that blue lines. That's kind of indicative of where the colder weather is going to be. The red here is the milder air. So as we go and take this forward here, it's definitely going to be getting colder, and you're going to be noticing the snows breaking out here through the areas of the North Carolina Smoky Mountains. You get a little bit of upslope here where that cold air kind of slams into the mountains, rises up, and squeezes out some snow. And it's going to be very bitterly cold up into the Midwest, to the Mid-Atlantic, I should say, and up toward the Northeast. So very cold up that way. But that blue line's going to start retreating on out of here. Getting on out of here as we go into your Sunday and Monday, and that's going to allow the warmer weather as the wind's going to shift around out of the west. And we'll see a nice warm-up going into next week as we see temperatures spike back in the 60s. And I think it'll linger for most of the week ahead for next week. Now, the other thing we're going to have to watch here is going to be for the gusty winds here for tonight as we're going to be dealing with that. I want to show some of these gusty winds here. So, again, kind of watch what happens here as we go in forward tonight. I'm going to back this up here. Going in forward tonight. So we got some gusty winds coming down with that Clipper system, and you notice that darker green there going forward tonight. That's the heavier wind gusts, especially across North Georgia. See that up in there? And look at over toward the Carolinas. So some very gusty winds in here all across the area. So just watch out for that for tonight. Make sure you secure that lawn furniture or umbrellas and trash cans, things like that. But especially across North Georgia, that's where the heavier winds are going to be, and over toward the Carolinas. All right, so here we go with our forecast. Let's look at our full map here. Again, watch that little timestamp there as we go with these maps from our friends from the National Weather Service here. As we go into tonight, again, watching that front kind of move on through in here, going in for tomorrow. So again, especially tonight, you notice these lines of equal pressure in here, these isobars packed in here. That means the windy conditions here for tonight should begin to subside tomorrow gradually throughout the day. So by the time we get later in the afternoon, things should settle down and not look too bad. A lot of sunshine for the afternoon. That'll carry into Sunday as well, looking pretty good. But then we'll start to see changes on Monday as that high pressure shifts to the south. We'll get the westerly wind in here, and things will be warming up nicely going in towards your Monday, Tuesday. And then I got question marks on the forecast going for Wednesday and Thursday. And I think the Weather Service does as well because they're really painting a broad brush here. I do have a chance of rain on Wednesday. Thursday, we'll see what happens with that. Again, limited rain chance there and going into Friday. So we'll wait and see what happens going into days 6 and 7 because I do have some question marks on those 2 days. Next 5 days, I think we're pretty much set in here as far as the overall forecast. So here's our forecast here for tomorrow. Noticeably colder, 44 and 30 there in Chattanooga. As we turn colder, again, you got to deal with those wind chills as well in the morning. Probably well down into the teens there. Look at the overnight lows here, mix of 20s and 30s across the area. Winds north at 10 to 20 with higher gusts over the North Georgia area, over toward Blue Ridge, LJ, over toward Dahlonega. They could see wind gusts getting over 40 miles per hour in that area. Looking at your daytime highs tomorrow, A mix of 30s and 40s, and again, north wind at 10 to 25 should begin to settle down here later in the afternoon. Regionally looking like this: 38 in Nashville, 47 in Atlanta, 61 in Mobile, 57 in Savannah. Notice dominant sunshine all across the southeast. And then the next 7 days, here we go. All right, back up in the mid-50s on Sunday, mid-60s on Monday, going from 55 on Sunday to 66 on Monday. That's going to feel pretty good. And then a little unsettled there as we go into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Again, question marks on Thursday and Friday. There's some questions on the timing of a cold front coming in for Thursday and Friday. So for right now, kind of doing a blend there between the European and GFS models for the high and low temperatures. But it looks like we get a brief cool down for next weekend. It'll be another one of those hit and run jobs. So when it does cool off, it's just for a couple days and then it should warm back up again. So again, looking pretty good for the week and getting a nice little break from the winter chill. It's been kind of cold here over the last month, so we'll definitely take it. But definitely going to be kind of a cold and day. At least we don't have a winter storm to worry about here like we've had to deal with the last couple of weeks here across parts of the area. So again, appreciate you guys checking us out. Again, if you're new here to the channel on Facebook, please give us a follow. And over on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. All right, that's y'all's update for today. Y'all take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you next week on Monday. You guys have a great and safe weekend. Bye-bye.